Hola, copias. My name is Miles Simon, and I'm here with Zulema and Andy, who are behind the camera. Today we'll be talking about guns and the effect it's had on America. Thank you.
Of that gang violence, a very large portion of that occurs in large, densely populated areas, specifically in California, in Chicago, and in New York. Of those three areas, they have the strictest gun control of any other area, yet they experience some of the highest homicides due to firearms. The most interesting part about all of these gun laws that went into effect is after they happened, and further studies in 2010 and 2014, 2017 came out, these laws had almost either zero or very close to zero impact on violence and gun violence. They didn't work simply because they didn't target something that was ever used in these crimes. So these laws are inane, they're insane, they don't affect things. So with all these bills that have come out, they have very little effect on gun violence. You can see, again, why it's so frustrating as a firearm owner. So the question is, as I hear the saying a lot, why would you need to use these? Where in the Second Amendment does it say you get one of these? Well, the Second Amendment wasn't written for hunting. The Second Amendment wasn't written for target practice or, to shoot rabbits and that type of shit. The Second Amendment was made at a time when a government was unlawfully exercising its will over the people. And the Founding Fathers were very specific when they said that we need to have the ability to defend ourselves against governments should they ever try to do that.
Hi, my name is Miles Simon. This is Templehoff. And I'm going to be interviewing him on the Second Amendment. So, what is your take on guns in America?
Guns in America. In all the experiences that's happening, especially after 2 days ago at Brown, I think that there is an easy, accessible thing that I think a lot of people shouldn't really have because it's beyond our current understanding of how to use it appropriately. So I think we need more gun education. I think that's something that we would benefit from.
Okay. And do you think it's fair to limit law-abiding citizens' guns, even though most guns involved in crimes are smuggled and illegal?
Yeah, so I think that goes back to gun education. I think that we've been given a tool that is very powerful without first learning how to use it, and I think that before we should be given something that is so powerful, like the internet, like nuclear energy, like all these things, right? I think we need the level of education that we don't have. So we need to be taught how to use it appropriately. I think everyone, because this is a thing in our lives that's not going away, I think that we need to educate ourselves appropriately on how to use it, which means that the government should be funding programs that are educating everyone across the country on what a gun is, how to use it appropriately, the right precautions to protect yourself from people wielding weapons. So I think that before we are even allowed to have those things, everyone needs to be educated appropriately on how to live with that.
Yeah. Okay. And lastly, what specifically do you think we should limit?
I think that we should limit what kind of weapons are out there. So like you mentioned earlier, right? Like the ability for the average person to have an automatic weapon. I think that's a great idea. I don't think that the average person should be walking around with an AK-47 strapped to their back, right? And it's a terrible idea. I think that in terms of who should be allowed to have those things, it is concerning that if the people don't have them, but the military are allowed to have them, and they demonstrate the lack of understanding on how to use a weapon appropriately, then that's concerning, right? Because now you have a military who doesn't know how to wield a weapon, for sure, and you don't have a population that doesn't know how to handle a military that doesn't have a wielding weapons, right? So, I think that limiting the amount of guns that we have in general is a good thing, but also a double-edged sword, right? Because if we have an aggressive government that decides to be aggressive towards us and we don't have the weapons to protect ourselves from them, then that's very concerning.
Absolutely. No. Awesome. Thank you for your time.
Yeah. Thanks.
doors stronger. We've got to make the windows stronger. And of course, we've got to increase school resource officers, because the idea that we can magically wave a wand and take guns out of the hands of bad guys, it just doesn't fit with recent experience. So we've got to make our schools safer. And I think we've got to have some common sense.
So today, on behalf of the families reeling from this shooting, and on behalf of every parent who lies awake at night wondering if their child is safe, we are demanding action. Minnesota must lead and Congress must follow. Ban assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. Get these weapons of war off our streets and out of our communities. Our kids cannot wait any longer.